So let's talk about a problem that's quietly popping up all over the place with AI-driven development. It's that moment when everything looks perfect. All the tests pass, the code is merged, but the job isn't actually finished for the most important person, the user. This is what happens when the tests pass, but the docs don't.
This is the sentence every engineering manager, every team lead absolutely loves to hear, right? An AI agent reports back, job done, the pipeline is green, it feels like a total win. Time to move on to the next ticket.
But hang on a second. Is it? Just because the code works and the tests all pass, does that really mean it's ready for your users? This is where a huge and kind of sneaky problem can be hiding in plain sight, and it can totally undermine all that great work the AI just did.
And that brings us to what I call the illusion of done. It's this trap we fall into, especially with AI, where we see a successfully merged pull request, and we just assume that's the finish line. But, spoiler alert, it's not the whole picture. Here's the heart of the problem. AI agents are trained to be amazing at solving code problems. They can fix bugs, they can refactor logic, they can write unit tests. But they have this massive blind spot. They often completely forget about the human side of things. The documentation that actually explains to a real person how to use the thing that just changed.
So this blind spot creates what we can call the stale documentation problem. Now, this isn't a totally new issue, but AI agents are putting it into hyperdrive. They can make a change so quickly that they leave the user-facing instructions dangerously and instantly out of date.
And you can see this disconnect so clearly right here. On one side, the AI gets a gold star. It updated a command line tool. Great. But on the other side, the user's the one who pays the price. The README file, the usage examples, they're now just flat out wrong, sending a confused user down a rabbit hole of frustration. And this thing, it has a name, documentation debt. It's a very specific kind of technical debt, but, instead of just making life harder for your future developers, this kind of debt hurts your current users right now. It just chips away at their trust and makes your product feel broken, even when the code itself is perfect. So, okay, why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's just docs, right? Well, no. The consequences of stale docs are very real, and they create tangible, expensive problems for your team, your users, and your entire business. Let's break down exactly what those costs are. This quote really hits the nail on the head. If you're a leader, your job isn't just about getting code merged. Your real job is to deliver a complete, understandable, and positive experience to your customers. And out-of-date documentation directly sabotages that mission. I mean, just look at this list. It's a nightmare. Customer confusion, well, that leads directly to more support tickets, which costs real money and burns out your support team. New developers joining your own team can't get up to speed because the internal guides are wrong. And maybe worst of all, you slowly destroy the trust your users have in your product. Every single time the docs lie, that trust takes a hit. Okay, so we've established the problem. It's a big one. So how do we fix it without just adding a bunch of manual checklists and slowing everything down? Let's talk about the solution, a systematic way to audit for what complete really means. The key word here is automation. This isn't about nagging your developers or having to ask the AI agent, hey, did you remember to update the docs? No. This is about building a system that automatically challenges the work. It's like an adversarial audit that demands proof of completion, and that proof has to include documentation. And here's how that flow works. It's actually beautifully simple. First, the AI makes a change that affects what the user sees or does. Right away, an automated audit kicks in. This audit is smart. It sees the code change and it immediately flags that, hey, the documentation is now out of sync. So the AI gets a new task, update the docs to pass the audit. And only when that's done is the work actually considered complete. So what this whole process really does is it forces us to completely redefine what done means in this new world of AI development. We have to move away from a purely code-centric definition to one that is completely centered on the user's experience. This is the new standard. So the takeaway is this, plain and simple. Documentation is not an afterthought. It's not a nice to have. From now on, it has to be a required piece of evidence for completion. Just like we require tests to pass, we have to require docs to be up to date. They have the same level of importance. And why do we do all this? It all boils down to one single powerful goal: better release readiness. It means when you ship something, you're not just shipping code into the void. You are shipping a complete,
reliable, and trustworthy experience for your users. And that, at the end of the day, is the whole point.
I want to leave you with this final thought, because it just wraps everything up so perfectly. If the change you made affects the user in any way, then the documentation is not some separate task. It is a fundamental part of the implementation itself. And remembering that, well, that's the key to closing the gap between code that just works and a product that users truly love.